Hi all, welcome to this third video of this Agile training for Scrum Masters. In the last two videos, we have covered about the processes, empirical processes, and then the Agile Manifesto with core four Agile values that we have discussed. In this video, we will discuss about Agile principles. So once we have understood the values behind the Agile, now it is time for us to have more detailed understanding on the principles, right, on which the Agile is basically based on. So there are 12 principles in general. I will go through these principles in summary. So the first principle says that we have to satisfy the customer through continuous delivery of a working software. So what does this basically means? Again, this stands to the true nature of agile. When we are in iteration mode, we are basically delivering versions of software which is working rather than making the customer wait for a fixed duration like in waterfall, and then only a customer would be able to get their hands on the working software. In agile, we are delivering in iterations, we are delivering a working software, mostly called as MVP, minimal viable product, with continuous improvements to it in each iteration. So the customer can get continuous early delivery and also gets on a chance to give you a feedback early on. The second agile principle says that welcoming the change in requirements even in the later stage. So although it is bit difficult to digest, incorporating change when you are basically in your late phases of development, but it was never possible or very hard in waterfall to get adaptable to any requirement change in the middle, because ultimately your development starts when your the requirement documentation, the SRS BRS gets freeze, right? So those documents will then there will be no scope of introducing change in the right requirement once the development begins in waterfall. But that's where agile comes into picture. Again, the foundation here is the iterative cycle. Since we are in an iteration mode, we want to assure that whatever we are building is delivering continuously, and if we get a feedback, based on that feedback there may be a change in requirement, then that requirement we can incorporate in the future iterations. So in this way, we have still adapted to the customer change and then able to deliver the as per the timelines also. The third principle says that delivering working software frequently. Again, this gets aligned to the iterations only, but not necessarily you are maybe having a two sprint or I would say 2 weeks of iterations. That doesn't necessarily mean you are delivering, you're basically launching or moving the chain to production every 2 weeks. But there would be a cycle, a regular release cycle, a cadence would be there when a customer or the market would be getting your latest version of the software that you are delivering. Fourth principle says that the business people and the core team, the development engineering team works in a collaborative way and they interact on a daily basis. So that's where the concept of daily standard meetings, DSMs, are introduced in Agile, where unlike in waterfall there was no daily communication among stakeholders, but in Agile that is done with the help of this principle, through which we have introduced the Agile Scrum meetings. The fifth principle says that the people who are in the project, right, should be motivated enough, and those individuals should be motivated, right, and that's what the again the I would say fosters the work life balance, emphasis, right? So it is not very uncommon. So it is not, as we have seen, there is a lot of demotivation in the lot of teams. People are not happy due to the issues that we have in waterfall. But that's where agile comes into picture with all the values and principles. If we incorporate, the individuals feels empowered and then they feel that yeah, this is at their disposal, right? They have been empowered to do things that they wanted to do in a way that satisfies both the individuals who are working on as a team and the market also. So agile principle would require people to stay motivated, but again that will come once they understand the core values behind agile. The sixth agile principle says that for any progress, right, the working software is the only measure. So Unlike in waterfall where we used to have metrics like line of code, how much line of code we have written, and that used to measure progress. But here, that there is no concept of LOCs anymore. It is more now how we are basically measuring the iterations, how we are delivering in the market, how many versions we have released, and working software is the only measure of a successful delivery. The next agile principle is that the entire stakeholders who are part of a project or of the development plan must have defined pace, right? So they will have to define a cycle of iteration. So they have to, so that everyone is on the same page, right? So you cannot expect an iteration to be a 1 week at a time or 2 weeks at a time and then 3 weeks at a time. So it won't work like that. In agile, everyone would expect to run at the same pace. So it will be a predefined duration of each iteration. Mostly it is of 2 weeks because it gives a good time for the team to deliver yet fast enough. And it's neither long and neither short. 2 weeks is an ideal time for any cycle, and hence this gives a constant pace for the team to deliver. The next principle says that the technical design is given utmost attention because once we are delivering in iterative way, our technical foundation of the project has to be very strong. Unless our technical foundation is not strong, we will not be able to deliver the working software so efficiently. Hence, Agile also promote technical agility, where the technical architects needs to ensure that the foundation, the technical architecture, the technical runway is solid enough to sustain so many iterations. So next agile principle says that simplicity. So simplicity is all about defining the work boundaries through small chunks. That is the user story. So we are not going in detail in long, lengthy, hundred of pages of PRS of SRS. The requirements are very refined in and simple form in terms of user stories. So user stories we will cover in detail in our upcoming videos. The next important agile principle is that while doing all this iterative work and following the previously discussed agile principle, team is also reviewing and meeting internally to see how they are doing, right? And they are basically gauging the effectiveness of their work, how they are delivering, and what measures they can take to improvise. So continuous improvement is also the intent of this agile principle. The next agile principle says that the teams which are composed of the engineering, right? So engineering teams which are composed should be self-proficient. I mean, the team should have all the required skill set in that team itself. So there is no external dependency, no gap in skills. Then only that team would be self-proficient to deliver on their own without any external help or with the best of efficiency. So the best of architecture, best of designs, and best of delivery in terms of regular iteration will come from self-proficient teams. The self-proficient teams are composed of multiple cross skill set people who can deliver as per the project requirement. So this principle basically fosters the delivery team whenever they are engaging in a project to compose a well-knitted team who can deliver as per the expectations. The last agile principle basically promotes face-to-face communication within the team, within the stakeholders, outside the stakeholders. So while documenting things over email, over chat is fine, but agile promotes direct communication. If you feel is there any gap in understanding, just connect with the stakeholders and clarify it rather than keeping it with yourself. That's the beauty of it, right? Once you communicate well, you collaborate well, and then you are able to deliver well. So it is very important for anyone who is stepping into agile journey to understand these 12 principles. So I'm not saying that you memorize these principles. They won't come in any theory exam. Nobody will ask you these principles in any interview. But to build a solid foundation, you need to understand these principles. Hence, I hope you will like this video and do share this with among your friends. And if you're planning to take your journey in agile role in any of the agile roles, please do watch this series, especially for the Scrum Master. I am making this video. I will also come with product owner series as well. So please do subscribe to the channel, and thanks a lot for watching.